my good people, how are you doing? How is everything going on, guys? Today I'm going to take you through step by step on how to apply for that F1 visa. How do you get that F1 visa, or what are the steps that you really need to focus on to get that particular F1 visa? I'm just going to take you step by step, like from the scratch to there. Your visa is been approved and you will be very happy, very excited. And some people get bad news like, oh, I'm sorry, due to the new regulations, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to approve your visas, and this is the document. You will read more to understand as to why. Nobody is really ready to hear that bad news. Everybody is very scared to receive that particular news, but it happens, okay? It happens. Maybe in one way or another, there are things that you didn't do right, or to your capability, you were thinking that everything is moving on smoothly until you got that pink slip, or you got that yellow slip, or you got that white slip, depending on which country you are. I'm talking about Kenya. You either get a pink or a yellow. But for those who have received good news like, oh, your visa has been approved today, and this document, which is I-20, you need to keep it very safe because you will need it at the port of entry. That is the good news every student is hoping to hear after their interview is done and you are handed over a blue slip. Oh my goodness, who doesn't like blue? Blue for boys. It's the most amazing paper that you can ever receive in this world. And the moment you receive that paper, you know definitely that everything that you did was worth it. All the preparations, all the coachings, all the trainings that you did for yourself, all the research, all the sleepless nights, all the financial drains and struggles, putting money together to get that bank statement is worth it after you get the approval.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up.
So I'm going to take you step by step, things that you can do to get that approval. But momentarily, I'll be talking about what are the do's and don'ts. What can you do to get that approval? What can you not do, to avoid getting a denial, to avoid getting a pink and a yellow slip, okay? So stay tuned here and be watching my videos because I drop videos every week. Actually, in a week, I drop 3. I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying to drop 3 a week. Because I'm beginning, but I'm really trying to maintain that momentum, okay? So I'll be talking about things that you need to do, how to prepare for your visa interview, the documents that you need. I'll be talking about what can you do after that visa denial. Are there chances for you to, redo it again? What can you do better for your second, attempt? I'll be talking about what can you do after your visa has been approved. Like, what are the steps to relocate to the United States of America? Now your dream has come. Here it is. You got your approval. What are the things that you need to be aware of? What can you do that can help you, at the port of entry? It's not that once you get an approval, now you can just get into the US like that. There are things that you need to avoid from the day of your approval up to the day that you're getting to the port of entry and beginning your classes. There are things that you really need to pay attention at and be very cautious about. So you need to watch that video, okay? The reason why I'm breaking things into sections is for better understanding and not to give you a too much information in one particular sit down, in one particular video, so you feel like you are, what can I take in, what can I not take in? I don't want to get you confused. I'm just giving you tip by tip to better understand this journey very well. But yes, now we're here. What are the steps for F1 visa? Those who are beginning the process of F1 visa, these are the things that you really need to pay attention to, and do them with a lot of caution, with a lot of seriousness, and with a lot of focus, and with a lot of dedication. You really have to be serious about the F1 visa if you really putting your effort in there, because you're about to spend money, you're about to do a big investment. It's a huge milestone that you're about to achieve. It's a big achievement that you're about to invest into, and that's why you really need to take it so seriously. You just don't want to take it lightly and end up wasting your money. You know, it's a big investment. Some people have gotten sick after that visa denial. That's when they get like, oops, so there is also a denial. So there's a stage I can, oh, I just thought after applying to school, getting an admission, you know, having a bank statement, I've just qualified, I've gotten that visa. And then when you come back home, your mom maybe took the money from, you know, these chamas in Kenya, and maybe they sold a piece of land to get you to that first step. You know, before you relocate to the US, I would call it the first phase. Before your first phase, there's a lot of investment that is put in, your time. There's a lot of, you know, brains that you really need to put in together. There's a lot of resources in terms of money, finances that you really need to put in. So I don't want you to play with your journey and, you know, end up getting that denial, and then you are like, oh, now I can do it, now I know better. No, I don't want you to feel like, now I know better, now I can do better, after you've wasted a whole resources. If you're very keen to follow these steps, you will end up getting your visa approval in your first attempt. Okay, so you don't have to go to the embassy 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. I mean, if that happens and you have to go back, I mean, again, it's not a bad thing. You can always go back and try again and again. I've seen people who have tried up to 5 times and they still have gotten to achieve their dreams after the 5th attempt, and they got an approval and they have accomplished their career achievement that they really looked forward to achieve. Okay, guys? Without further ado, let's get into the video once again. All right, where were we? Step number 1. Let's do on the steps. Okay, let's talk about the steps that you really need to get to your visa interview, to your visa approval, to your F1 visa approval. So step number 1, I want you to do a thorough research on the accredited schools in the United States that you can apply to and actually get an admission. Some people just apply to random schools, and unfortunately, they get approval, they get an admission, they don't get an admission. I really want you to do thorough research on schools that maybe you can talk to friends that you know who are already in the US pursuing their careers or in those schools already. You can talk to them to give you an insight of how the school is, what are the requirements, what you need to put in before you can embark into, like, you know, submitting your document to that particular school and get that discouraging message of, we are sorry, we will not admit you. Ask your friends about it. Do research. Go to Google, search for, probably, like, for example, if you want to come to Rowan University, my school, I'm not trying to you know, advertise my school, but it's one of the most one of the most universities that I can actually encourage you to apply to, in terms of resources, in terms of research, in terms of the opportunities. Man, it's one of the schools that I really root for some of you to apply to. And it's very student friendly in terms of tuition and everything. So you can either talk to a friend or go to Google. Make Google your best friend. Go to Google and type schools in the United States. You can narrow down by searching for schools in a particular state. Actually, if you don't know how the US is, you know, divided or, you know, organized, type in how many states do we have in the United States of America? There should be around 53, I'm not so sure. And then once you have a list of those states, choose one particular state that you may be having people to accommodate you. You really necessarily don't have to have somebody to accommodate you, but if you know some people in that particular state, now look for schools in that state. You can actually type on Google what are the best universities in, for example, New Jersey, for example, Texas, for example, Minnesota, for example, Florida, for example, Illinois, that is in Chicago, for example, Washington, D.C. or Washington, Seattle, or whether the best schools in Colorado. You know, there's Colorado State University. Every state has a state university, okay? You can start from there. Or what are the best community colleges that I can easily get access to, or that I can easily get an acceptance? Once you Google community colleges in a particular state, look at every particular maybe community college that you have settled with. Look at the requirements. What do they require? They require maybe a GA, a GRE, a GMAT. Maybe they require English proficiency. Maybe they require you to have a particular, look at the setup of the requirement they need and see what can you afford in terms of, giving those requirements. What kind of grades are they looking for me to qualify for particular course? If you're into STEM courses, you can look into best universities that offer research programs. They have research institutions in their particular school. So let's say, for example, you are lucky enough to settle on one particular school. Calculate your GPA. You should be able to know how to calculate your GPA. If you don't know, I'll be talking about how to calculate your GPA on a separate video. So you really need to stay here. That's why I told you on my very videos that you really need to make this channel your best friend so that you can know so much information. You don't have to be an international student for you to stick around. You can also, gain this knowledge to help a cousin, to help a sister, to help your future kids, to help somebody somewhere, a friend, or, who is interested to pursue their studies in the United States of America, in the USA. After step number 1, for example, let's say you have landed on this particular school, you have seen your GPA, and you go to the website of the school. Look at things like, do they offer scholarship, graduate assistantship? Do they offer full scholarship, partial scholarship? What are the requirements for those scholarships? What is the tuition fee per year? How much do I need to pay per year? And what are the other benefits that come with this particular institution? What are the things that I can gain from this institution? And what are my importance in this what can I bring into this institution? After I finish my education from this institution, is it a good institution that I can get better referrals out there with when it comes to employment, when it comes to companies looking up to you? Look at those things. I'm talking about those students who really score A's and whatever, and they're looking forward to go to Harvard, go to, Stanford universities, go to this F-1 universities, these best universities. But if you are a minimal student, those are students with D's, student with C's, student with C minuses, C pluses, do not give up. The good thing about the USA, they can accept you to start your journey from the lowest that you can get and then climb all the way to the best that you can achieve. They do not limit you just because you got a D that you can't get accepted. You can look for community colleges and get accepted and start from the community colleges and start with associate degree, grow and get a transfer from that community college, go to a university, do your bachelor's degree. After that, go to a master's. After that, if you're that person who is so much into getting their careers into another level, you see yourself in education and you're the love of education. You don't see anything apart from that career woman, that career man. You just want to associate yourself with professionals. You just want to work in a professional environment. Then you can start from somewhere and get that admission. Now, let's say you've gotten your admission, right? Up to this level, you've gotten an admission in a particular school. You've submitted documents. There are necessary documents that you really need to have. You must have a bank statement, and your bank statement must be current. What do I mean by current? Let's say today is the day that you want to submit all your documents. Maybe you've gotten all your certificate, your result slip, you have all the other documents like passport, you have everything that is required by this school, and you want to submit your things today. You've looked at the requirements and you feel like you can qualify. If you're getting into a master's program, you've done your SOP, it's ready. Now you've gone through, you've edited it, everything is ready. Now you can get your bank statement that reads from this particular month and 2 other months before. So you really need to have current a bank statement of the current period of time that you are in. 3 months from the month that you are, count other 2 months. You can even add a bonus of an extra month to have 4 months, depends. Maybe today is 1st of June, and if it's 1st of June, definitely you can't have a bank statement of June. Then you're gonna have May, April and March, and if you want you can put February and January. It depends with the available bank statement that you can get. So your bank statement must have good amount of money. When you looked at how much you need to sponsor your education for 1 academic year, and you find, like, for example, it's $40,000, you need a bank statement at least of $50,000. That's 5 point something Kenyan shillings. You can get a 6M, you can get a 710, depending on how you are financially able to get that bank statement. If it's community college and you see that your tuition fee or your academic expenses is 27,000 or 24 or 28,000 $, you can get a 30,000. that is a 3.4M, 4M itself, 5M. At least a bank statement should be more than what the school is requesting you to have. So submit the bank statement and wait for the school to respond to you, and submit all your other, go to the website of that school and submit all, create your account, student account, and then submit all those documents. After you have submitted all the documents, you're going to wait for the response from that week, depending on how fast the institutions are. They do take 2 weeks, they do take 3 weeks maximum. Some can take a month, depending on how fast their institution is, or what time of year are you applying. Are you applying during the time of admission process, or you are applying after they are past admission? Now they are enrolling other students for that particular semester. So it depends. You really need to check on what season should I apply. You should apply the season of admission process. That way they can get back to you very fast. After that, you're gonna get an acceptance letter, or maybe they will give you a rejection letter. Let's say, for example, you've gotten an acceptance letter. You accept. Accepting it, they will ask you to pay an application fee. Some schools are $30, some are $35, some are $50, some are $100. Depends on that particular school. Some are up to $250, depending if they include enrollment fee, And after you pay your application fee, you can actually pay your application fee through the process that the school tells you. You can use your Visa card. They actually make it very easier and accommodating every currency in every particular country. So you can pay with your country currency, or you can give somebody money who is here to pay for you if you have relatives or a family or a friend. It's easier to make that payment. It's not a hurdle. After that, wait for an I-20. An I-20 has your F-1 visa class. That's your admission class. You're admitted with an F-1. So you get that I-20 document. I'll be talking about this document so you understand what I-20 is and what it carries. So I'll be talking about these videos in a separate video. I'll be talking about that information, all the terms that comes with F-1 visa, in a separate video. So watch on that. Video is dropping down soon. Alright, now let's say you've gotten your I-20. What should you do next? You should fill out a DS-160. You can go to Google again, search for DS-160. Is a lot of pages document. Fill in that document. I will be talking about how to fill out DS-160, what you need. Watch that video again. Fill out the DS-160. You don't have to finish filling it out, your DS-160, before you can secure a favorable date for your visa interview. Just fill the first and second page. Save that DS-160 number and your security questions. Save them somewhere because you will need them to access back to retrieve your DS-160. After you've saved them somewhere, now go to, you can search for how to book for a visa interview on your home embassy. I mean, you can mention the country, maybe Kenyan embassy. Get to that website, book for your visa interview. They will take you through steps of payment. Step number 1, you'll have to create an account with them and put your details like your names and everything that comes with it, your passport, your DS-160 number that you got. And after you put all the details, they will take you to payment. After payment, they will give you an available date if it's available. If it's not available, they will actually tell you keep watching the website for available dates. Now you should make that website your best friend. Go back to your DS-160, start now filling in your DS-160. Slowly gather those information that they require, get all the evidences that they require, fill out your DS-160 truthfully. Make sure DS-160, whatever you fill in that document is correct. Because if you do a mistake and fill in the information that is not correct, it's going to drag your entire life. I mean, yeah, once it's gone, submitted, that is it. Do not submit your DS-160 until you are sure. You can double check it months and months. You can actually submit it a week to your interview. Let an expert, let somebody who knows very well how to fill in DS-160 to double check your DS-160 and tell you if it's good to submit. And if you are okay, you feel like every information is correct, now you can submit your DS-160. Let's go to the visa page. You're still searching and getting a visa interview. Let's say, God willing, you just get a date. I will advise you to take the available date from the time you are booking to the time you are, getting to get to your school. Do not take in a visa date that is less than 10 days to your admission date or to your enrollment date, because that is one way of you jeopardizing your visa approval. Because less than 10 days, you can't do so much. After you get your visa, you need to make arrangement. There is also time that embassy takes to deliver that passport back to you. So that duration is very short. And that makes your visa officer to deny you that approval because it's 2 less days. I mean, apply at least 15 days to your start of class or 20 days to your start of class if that is the date you can get. I mean, you can also take that date and stay on the website to keep on checking and see if you can get a favorable date, better available dates. Or you can also expedite. Write to your embassy an email requesting them that you really need a date that is, within the time frame of your reporting to school and your start of your class date. Depending with how your embassy is, how much slot they have, they might expedite. Depending on the emergency of your visa, the interview, they can. And also, there are things that they look up to for you to qualify for that expedite. It's not everybody who qualifies for it. I mean, one of them is the reason as my classes are starting. They don't feel like that is really weighty enough to qualify. But you can give a shot. You can give a shot and see if you can qualify for that. Now, let's say, for example, you have expedited and you've gotten a date. Also, one thing that you really need to pay attention to, do not just get a date like tomorrow and you go ahead and book. I mean, you need to prepare. You need to have submitted your DS-160. You need to have coached yourself. You need to have done more research because you really need to prepare for that visa interview. It's not just 1+1. You're gonna have to go through a series of questions and interview yourself before the mirror and get prepared. So do not take a date that is 1 week after you are booking today and there's a 1 week, unless you've been preparing for like 3 weeks or 2 weeks or 1 month and you feel ready. If you get a date, you can just pick it tomorrow. That means you have already done your DS, everything is ready, and you're prepared enough, you're ready for the interview. So choose a date that is a month from now, maybe from today when you're booking. Choose like a month, choose like 2 months, choose like 3 months, If your intake is fall and you're booking June, I mean you can book July. If your intake is fall and you're booking January, you can book May. You know, give yourself more time. Some students make a mistake. They just book any date. They rush to the embassy and they get that surprise of denial because you do not prepare enough. You really need to show up when you have really done better research. You are prepared so well that you can be able to convince the visa officer. Okay, now after you booked for your visa interview, the next step is to start preparing, researching, doing more extensive good work of, you know, investing more on your preparation. Look at the questions. What are the possible questions that you can be asked? The obvious question is why you're here today. Why should I give you a visa? Which university are you going to? Which year did you graduate? Why this course? Why this university? How many universities did you apply to? Who is sponsoring your trip? Who is sponsoring your education? Who is sponsoring your travel? Those questions they cannot miss. They might be, you know, paraphrased in a different way, but those questions around those students, they are student question friendly. They can't just ask you questions out of nowhere unless there's something they have seen on your DS-160 and they want to ask you if you're married, what are the ties that you can prove to your home country, you know, things like that. And if they see like maybe you have somebody who has petitioned for you, they will maybe ask a question about that, but they really don't go off from your student environment question. They will really ask you student question friendly, you know, if there's an English like that, guys. Actually, now let's say you've passed your interview and you've prepared so well. So what do you do after your visa has been approved, or what do you do after your visa has been denied? Watch my next video talking about after visa approval or after visa denial. What should I do next? Thank you so much. I hope I've covered enough information to help you go through this process smoothly and get your visa approved. Wish you all the best. Stay tuned. Love you all. Bye.